Welcome everyone to the Highly Conscious Man podcast. I'm your host, Jack Peterson, and I'm a men's confidence coach from highlyconsciousman.com. And today I have with me Hashim Locario, aka Mr. Locario, and he is a relationship guru who helps people in their love lives and gives men and women the knowledge, truth, and confidence to understand what they want. Mr. Locario has been featured on VH1, Fuse, The Dish Network, TLC, ABC Family, The Tyra Banks Show, and Anderson Cooper. He has also written for FlaglerHill.com, Singles Warehouse, and the Fort Greene New York Times blog. So Mr. Locario, it's great to have you here on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. What's going on?
No problem. So let's start off by if you could first tell me like a condensed version of your story of becoming a dating coach.
Yeah, well, basically, I'm also an actor and a rap artist. So I was doing, acting and rapping, and I was always the type of person that wanted to do only the things that I liked, So I was like, I need to do something that I really like, but also I can, make a living off of. So I was like, I was helping my friends always getting girls and stuff like that. So one of my business partners, he was like, hey, you should try this actually as a career and actually really do it. So I just started putting out videos and I was getting a lot of feedback, and then it kind of snowballed into like a mini book that I put out for free, and then a lot of people downloaded it. I started writing articles for websites, and it just kind of like, it just happened really fast, and it's been working out. So and I always like to help people. So that's like my main thing. I was always the type of person that just always wanted to help somebody in any capacity. You know what I mean? So, and I see that a lot of guys, want help with their dating lives and everything too. So I was like, this is a good thing to get into.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of guys that need help in that area.
Right.
So how long have you been a dating coach?
For about like 6 years now, something like that. Yeah,
Nice.
It seems longer for some reason, but yeah, it's been about that time.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's been a little bit of time.
Okay. So it says on your website, a quote, "The truth is inside you." So can you explain the importance of that?
Right. So basically, the truth is inside you. It basically means that anything that you want and anything that you want to get accomplished, or all your desires, you already know what it is. But what happens is a lot of people go through life doing what they think they're supposed to do instead of doing what they want to do. So I always tell people to tap into exactly what you want, and then that's your truth. That's what you really want to do. So for example, some people might say, well, I'm 35 years old. That means I should get married now. But they're only saying that because that's what they've been taught. So you might not want to get married. You might want to do this, and that's your truth. That's because it's really what you want to do. So I always tell people, like, the truth is inside you, meaning figure out what you really want in order to get it. And then that's when you actually really, enjoy your life more, because you're actually doing what you want as opposed to what people tell you you're supposed to do.
Yes. So how do people kind of sift through the bullshit and kind of get down to what they really want?
I mean, it's a lot. It's tough because there's a lot of societal pressures kind of telling you what's okay and what's not okay, and everybody kind of wants to, like, not necessarily fit in, but people want other people they want to be liked, they want to be, have support or whatever they're doing. And sometimes when you are truly honest with yourself, you figure out what you want, and sometimes what you want might go against the grain. Sometimes what you want might be something different than what most people are used to, and you might have to say, well, this is who I am, this is what I'm about, and just ignore those outside voices and all those people out there telling you what you should do, and say, you know what, I'm going to do what I want to do, and that's that. You know what I mean? And then that's when you really get to where you want to get. And I'm telling you, once you do that and you really just focus on your thing, it opens doors for you. It makes you a more happier person, actually, I believe, because you're actually really doing your own thing. You're being you.
Yes. And at least for me, if I have a client who needs help with that, I'll have him like either write down, kind of just do like a brain dump on paper or on the computer, and just kind of write down like kind of what he really wants, and instead of what people are, what his parents want him to do or what his friends think he should do, or also meditation helps a lot. Do you what kind of ways do you help guys that you coach with that?
Oh, well, what I do is I basically I sit down with them and I tell them I have like a sheet that they write down, like, honestly, what the everything that they want. No, don't think about what other people are going to think. No judgments. Just write it down, and then kind of like a list of like 10 things that you like, 10 things you don't like. You know what I mean? And compare and contrast. And then from that, we say, okay, cool. I see that you want to do this. You want to accomplish this. Let's figure out a way to get that going. Or I also ask, why haven't you done this yet? You know, because that also is a good question to open up. Well, maybe it's a fear or something. They're scared that, oh, if I do this, then this is going to happen. You know,
Yeah.
which is probably what stopped them from trying to achieve that in the first place. So it's like kind of like really getting them into like a safe space to where they can actually really have those thoughts. Because a lot of people just in general in life, people don't get a chance to just, you know, really be themselves, because it's always, they're scared they're going to be ridiculed, they're scared they're not going to be accepted for who they really are or what they're really thinking. And you know, I just try to get that out there like that, you know, so we can really get down to the nitty gritty of it, you know.
Mm-hmm. And another important thing is to really take action towards those things. Maybe they write down some things. Maybe they want to be like a painting, they want to be an artist or something, but they've never really tried it. So like have them like, yeah, go try out painting, go take some painting classes or something.
Exactly. Started. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Get that started, because people always, they're looking for the right time, and I always say, there's no, you know, just go do it. You know what I mean? Like,
do it now.
Exactly.
As soon as possible. Okay. Now I wanted to talk with you about dating, and in the area of dating for guys, and kind of how it's important to date a lot of women if you want to kind of figure out the girl that's right for you.
Right.
I know it sounds like you've had a lot of experience with dating, so yeah, for sure. So what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think guys need to really, you know, figure out like if they want a girlfriend, because I know certain guys that are like, hey, I just want a girlfriend. And I always tell the guys, even if they just want a girlfriend, you still have to date a lot of women. You still have to go out there and approach and talk to different girls, because you're going to figure out what you want through that situation. You know what I'm saying? Because I always, you know, like when I was thinking about this the other day, I was talking to my friend, and we were saying that, you know, when a person says I don't know something, it's not necessarily meaning that they're stupid or they're, you know, whatever, but when you say you don't know, you're just saying you don't know yourself in that situation. So a lot of guys don't know themselves in the situation of being with women to understand what they even want in the first place. Because a lot of guys might say, oh, I just want a girlfriend. And then you fall into like something with some girl, and then you don't like it. Like, what the hell happened? I thought I wanted this, but you haven't. You got to actually go through stuff to figure out, hey, you know, maybe I didn't want this. Maybe I wanted this. Maybe I want this right now. Or maybe I want this type of girl. Maybe I want that type of girl. And that only happens through dating a lot of women and putting yourself in that predicament. You know?
Yeah, and I've been in that situation a few years ago, just when, you know, almost any girl would do, especially if it was an attractive girl, just like, oh my God, like, yes, I want this girl. Like, no matter what her personality is like, I want her.
Right. And you're like, what the hell?
Whereas if you get more experience, then you kind of learn like the different types of girls and the personality types, and kind of what stuff you're willing to deal with, what stuff you're not willing to deal with, and what kind of girl you're looking for.
Right, because a lot of times guys, you know, they're a lot of guys when they're especially haven't had experience with women, most guys are just focusing on, oh, she's so hot, I just need a hot girl. Their whole thing is like, oh, she has to be hot in this. And of course you want to be attracted to a woman, but you know, a lot of guys, when they don't have experience with women, they're just thinking about how good she looks. And sometimes, you know, you can have the greatest looking girl, and if she's not really, if you're not connecting, if y'all kind of, she gets on your nerves, it's not going to be worth it in the end. It's not going to last. Nothing's going to happen. When you could have had, you know, there's another girl over there who might like you, who might not be as hot as that girl, but she's still attractive. You can have a, you know, good time with her. So it's not just about the looks. It's also about what is she bringing to the table? Like, does she benefit you, you know, in your life? You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
It's that type of stuff, you know?
Yeah, and sometimes it's really hard to separate like infatuation from like personal connection, like personality, especially with like a super attractive girl. Like, I mean, I know me personally, and a lot of other guys will just like fall in love with a girl just because she's super hot, even if she's like a complete bitch.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, a lot of times it's hard to separate the two. But for me, I found that maybe if I'm dating a really attractive girl, sometimes I try to like visualize her as being like not attractive, or even visualize her being a dude, and then just like thinking about, then
Relax,
I can
like
only think about her personality and not like
right,
what she looks like.
right.
So that's
Yeah, and another trick too is also, the more you approach women and the more you talk to women, the more dates you go on, you get used to being around women and the whole like, because I think a lot of guys have this fantasy or this perception of women as these like super like awesome beings that I'm not good enough to be with, and I'm just lucky to be in the presence of a woman.
yeah,
And it's like, once you're dating girls, you're like, these girls are cool, they're human beings just like me. I have nothing to, I don't need to put them on a pedestal, and then you start to really see the quality girls
hmm
versus just, oh, I think she's quality because she looks hot. So it's,
yeah,
it's a whole different thing.
exactly. What do you think about I guess like society and media
Mm.
and how like TV shows portray like men and women dynamics? I know there's a lot of TV shows out there that the woman is kind of like the head of the house and the
Oh, God.
guy is like a bitch and like and there's a lot of that in movies. Like I know in Transformers there's this quote. I think the husband said, happy wife, happy life. So
Right,
like
right,
just do whatever she wants and
right.
I'll be happy.
And
Um,
it's weird because it seems like the shows nowadays is like that. It seemed like back in the days when I used to watch Married with Children and stuff, and it was a different, like the men were just different back then in the media and on TV.
yeah.
But nowadays, like you have shows like Everybody Loves Raymond, where
Yes.
he's just like
Yes.
scared of his wife, or
Yeah.
or they have cartoons where the husband is like an idiot and then the wife is like the smart one all the
Yeah.
time. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like, and I feel like that conditions guys, in general, just to feel a certain way about themselves in relation to women. And also, I feel like it makes women feel like they're more superior than guys. Because
Yeah.
I've run into women where I approach certain women and they'll act like they're doing me a favor by talking to me, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's not serious. Like
Oh.
they have this arrogance, and that comes from women having this thing where they're like, oh well, you're just some dumb guy, whatever, and that is the media has a bit a big part in why people are feeling that way because we're influenced by that stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. So how would you say guys should deal with a woman like that? Should they just like stay
Right.
away from her, or I don't know?
Right. The thing is this. I always tell guys, figure out what your goal is in everything that you're doing. So, for example, if you're talking to a woman, a lot of times guys think too much about what the girl is thinking. So
Yeah.
they'll want to say something to a girl, or they'll want to talk to a girl, and they'll look at her and they'll say, well, she looks like she doesn't want to be bothered, or she looks like she's this, or she looked like she wouldn't be into a guy like me. And you shouldn't care about that. Your whole motivation is that, hey, I'm out, I'm chilling, I see a woman, I see her, I think she's attractive. I'm gonna go talk to her because I want to go talk to her. You understand? And then if she's acting a certain way, if she's acting bitchy or she's acting whatever, sometimes women will do that just because, it's like a reflex. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
they've been approached by so many guys that it's like they're like, oh, just get away, or I'm gonna be rude or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And you can either be the type of guy to say, hey, well, you know what? I'm not even gonna bother with her because she's on some stuff. Or you could say, realize that that's what it is and not make it affect you while you're talking to her. Because sometimes you can turn that around and make it into a conversation. You just got to drop that wall has up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, generally I always tell guys, just don't worry about what the girl is thinking. You got to worry about what you're trying to do. Because if you always worry about what she's going to say or what she's going to think about you, you're going to stop yourself. You're going to be like, oh, I'm not going to talk to her. I'll talk to the next one. I don't really know. And then you're hesitating and you're doing all this other stuff. I'm like, just go in and do it. Like I actually had a video one time where it was titled Let Her Say No. And I was talking about a time where I was with a girl and we were at her house and we're kissing and we're getting all, and so I wanted to have sex with her. But then I was like, oh, she seems like she, doesn't want to do it. And she was telling me earlier that she had to get up early for work. So I said, oh, she probably wants to get up early for work. So I just left. And I was like, damn, I should have tried it and let her say, nah, I can't do it. I chose for her when I should have just tried to let it happen and then
Yeah.
let her say no. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of guys,
Yeah.
that was me thinking, of what she might think instead of me trying to do what I really wanted to make happen. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm like, let the girl say no. Don't think about what she's going to say, because a lot of guys, they'll see a girl and they'll be like, she might reject me. And I'm like, well, go and talk to her. Let her reject you. Don't think about it now. It's not even, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But just go and do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is, like, you always feel better if you go after what you want.
Exactly. Exactly.
And the worst thing that can happen is she'll say no, or I mean, maybe if you're really rude, the worst thing that could happen is she'll slap you. But I mean, that's like
No,
never happened to me
that's
before.
yeah. You know, it's funny. I always think it's crazy how women think that's okay. You know, because I've never had a woman slap me, and I think also it's like my demeanor because I think they know they can't do that. I think certain guys, and this is what I truly believe. I think certain guys who like get slapped or a woman thinks that they can slap them. In certain cases, the guy is somewhat. I'm not trying to blame the dude on this for this, but something about him is telling her that he's that weak that she can do that to him. You know what I
Oh
mean? Because a
yes,
real like a guy who's like like on some manly, I'm like I'm confident, like whatever. First, he's gonna approach her and he's gonna talk to her, whatever, and even he can say whatever he wants, but there has to be something about him that she feels that he's that weak that I can slap him because no matter what, a woman still knows that a guy can beat her up. You understand? But
yeah.
women have gotten so comfortable in
Oh
society
yes, yes.
that guys they just slap them and the guys don't do anything or nobody reprimands the woman. But at the end of the day, most women wouldn't. It's like I don't believe women are that dumb. I just don't. Like if a guy is like a super bodybuilder, no one's gonna slap that bodybuilder because they're like, whoa, he might do something. No matter how emotional you get, no matter how you're just not gonna slap that guy. But a person who has the gall to just slap somebody, part of them feels like they're brave enough or safe enough to slap that person. You know what I'm saying? So it's I just oh man, or she
Yeah,
could just be crazy. That could be it too. She could just be crazy and she'll
that's
slap
true.
somebody. So it'll
So would
depend.
you say, as a man, you're almost responsible for everything that happens to you?
I mean,
Um,
well, that's basically how they put it in society. You really are. I mean,
yeah.
as a man, no matter what happens, you're gonna get blamed for it anyway. So, and I just think it's always a good thing to, like live your life basing everything as your own fault only even if it's not like if someone came into your house and burned it down that might not be your fault but what it is that you have to have a mind state of well everything is my fault because then it's going to make you not make excuses for anything and it makes you do things as if well I control everything so then it makes you progress when you have that mind state of
uh,
well everything is in my control so if I want something to go right I have to do it if something went wrong it was my fault so you don't blame anybody because if you start blaming
yeah.
if things don't go right when it was your fault you're going to blame other people so it's better
Yeah.
just to have the mind state hey well I control everything I can turn my life into what I want it to turn into. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And then, yeah, if you don't take responsibility, then you're always kind of reacting and just like
Right.
getting
Exactly.
down and putting yourself down. And yeah, there's no point of that at all.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I'd also say, back to dating lots of women, I think it really helps to obviously understand like social dynamics and the dynamics of dating and
Right.
understanding women, basically understanding reality more clearly and
Right.
like what's really out there and yeah, just how to interact with women in general, and build your skill set because social dynamics is really a highly complex skill to learn.
Right. Right.
It's like never ending.
It's true.
So yeah, you can almost not get enough experience.
Right. It's always good to practice.
Yeah,
Practice and talking. Because I always tell guys, don't just practice talking to women. Talk to everybody. Talk to the doorman. Talk to the person
yeah,
at the store. Just get in the mode of being social because then it won't be a big deal when you see women. It's just
yeah,
it'll rub off. It'll just flow.
yeah. I've even noticed like, the more I better my relationships with my guy friends, then my relationships get better with girls as well. Because I mean, we're all human, so
Right.
yeah.
Right. It's true.
Um, and I also it also really helps you get over like your own insecurities. If there's
Mhm.
a guy who's kind of getting into the dating game, it helps him get over insecurities like getting stuck on one girl.
Right.
Some guys call it like the one-itis or whatever, and like latching onto her,
Right.
or being scared of kissing her on the first date, or scared
Right.
of sleeping with her when you meet
Right.
her. Things like that. Just getting more experience just helps you get over those insecurities.
Definitely. Definitely does. It does.
Okay. Also, I sent you a quote. Here, I'll just read it. It says, women say they don't want players, and yet their attention often goes to the guys who seem most at ease and are working the room with confidence. Guys who are really good at making first impressions are guys who've done it a lot and have practice. And guess who that is? The players, and what I call the retired players. And the retired players make the best boyfriends. So women, a piece of advice is to ignore or at least temper your first impression instinct and give guys a bit more latitude. There are plenty of great guys out there who just aren't great at approaching women.
Right. I totally agree with that. Actually, like the part about players being the best boyfriends, because a player's kind of been there, done that. He's he's had experience. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like less likely to feel like he's missing out on something, because he's like, and also that player kind of knows what he wants more so than like the guy who's not experienced. Because a lot of guys who aren't that experienced, they kind of just take what they can get.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The player's like, I'm choosing this girl and that girl. I'm choosing not to be with her, to be with her. And if he has a girlfriend, a long-term girlfriend, he chose her out of all these other girls because he felt she was the best out of the pack for him.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I think that works out. But also, I think women kind of look look down on the players because, women want to feel like they're the only one for you and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, want to have the idea of you being with other women, but on the flip side, you being with other women makes them attracted to you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's like one of these catch-22 things. And also, what I tell a lot of guys to do is you can't really listen too much to what women say they want, because what they say they want and what they respond to is two totally different things. And they're going to say, hey, I want a guy who's only going to date me and this and this and that. They'll say she'll want that, but then a guy will do that. And it should be like, oh, he's smothering me, and I need some space, and you're, and then, but she'll respond to the fact that she knows other women want you, So it's like, it's one of those things. And I always tell guys, I've only found a couple of female, I guess, dating coaches that sort of understand or can actually teach guys certain things, because like I'll listen to what they're saying, and I'm like, okay, this girl gets it, she understands. But a lot of women don't really understand the dynamic that it takes to be a man getting a woman, because they're not men, so they have no idea how to get them. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like I use the example of if you get your newspaper delivered to your doorstep, right? You like the fact you get it delivered, but if I said, hey, tell me the process of how that paper got made to the point where it got to your doorstep, you're not gonna know. You can't it was manufactured here. This person put paid this person and it went to this truck, and like you don't know because you don't go through that process. Women don't know because they don't go through the process of trying to get a woman. You understand? Only a guy who's gotten women, a guy who's good with getting girls, can teach you how to get women. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of guys look towards women to talk about that, and that and that goes with like guys listening to women saying, hey, I don't like a player and I don't do this and I don't do that.
Yeah.
It sounds okay. So a guy who's like at his beginning stages of trying to get with women, he might listen to that and say, okay, well, let me listen to her because she's a girl and she's telling me what girls like. But girls aren't going to tell you the real stuff because they don't really know. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. You know what I'm saying?
Like what a girl will tell you, or like what your mom will tell you is like, oh, buy her flowers, take her out on a date, buy her dinner, open the door for her, open the car door, things like that. And then you'll go on the date, and she'll be like turned off, and she'll be like, "Oh, he's just too nice of a guy." Like,
and you're confused. You know what I mean? And
they're
just so confused about that because they're listening to too much of what's going on with with these ladies saying what they want, and then also like you're saying in the thing where I feel like women will, because I coach women too, and I always tell women they'll have even better relationships if they give. Take the time to give a guy a chance instead of being like, because women are very picky, especially with like online dating now, and they just they have this perfect guy in their head, and if you don't fit that criteria at the moment, they're just like done. And I tell women that I coach, I say, if you went out on this date, and I'll ask them, how was the date? And they'll be like, oh, everything was cool, but I didn't like that he did this one little thing. And that one little thing, she's like, I don't want to see him again. And I'm like, no, go see him again, because that one little thing was nothing. You understand? Ooh. And then they'll go see him again, And I have plenty of women on different occasions start to really like the guy because they kept seeing him and they actually connected with him. But they wouldn't have done that if they wouldn't have given him that chance. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So it's like it's crazy.
So why are the ladies so picky?
You know what it is? It's because what happens is that, and I think this is human nature. When you have an abundance of something, you always feel like it's like you can get. You're like, well, I got 10 of these things, and I know another one is coming tomorrow, and another one's coming tomorrow. So I want the best out of all I got coming to me. So a lot of women, like especially even like again with online dating, why it's so tough for guys is that these women have 30, 40 messages a day in some cases.
Yeah.
And so they have this perfect guy in their head. And if they're just waiting on that guy. So they might date another guy in the meantime, or they'll flirt with you a little bit because they want the attention. But they're so picky because they have this dude or a certain type of guy that they want, that they're waiting for. You know what I'm saying? To actually give him that cooperation and do that type of stuff. So that's why it's gotten so picky with a lot of these ladies. You know what I mean? But the good part about that for guys is that, since there's so many women around, and the fact that guys are the ones who approach and who actually take the initiative to make stuff happen, guys sort of still have the advantage to getting girls in the long run because we're the ones who approach. You know what I'm saying? We're the ones who come up and talk to you. Like, women have to wait for us to talk to them. I mean, they can talk to us, and I try to coach women to do that, but a lot of women are scared to talk to us. They don't do it, so we have to do it anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'd say if you're a guy who approaches a lot of women, then you have the advantage. But there's a lot of guys who don't approach women. So
yeah, try to tell them you got to do it.
Okay, last question. So would you say that a lot of women don't know exactly what they want?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
That's part kind of sucks because then it sucks for the guy. You know what I mean? Because you might be a woman and things are going great. Because I've had this a lot of times where, things are going great between me and a girl. Or I talked to one girl one day. We're having a good time. We exchanged numbers. And you have this feeling like, I'm definitely going to see this girl again. She liked me, had a good time. And then I never hear from her again.
Yeah.
And sometimes that could be because she has a boyfriend. But also sometimes it could be because she doesn't really know what she wants yet. Or she's not really, because that time when we were talking, everything was good. And then the next day she feels different. She feels a different thing. So it's like a lot of girls, the ones who know what they want, those are the ones that you really click with because you already know you want them, which is why you're sort of like, you want them to an extent. You're like, I'm attracted to her, so I'm going to go talk to her. I'm going to go out with her and get to know her a little bit. But these, and if she knows what she wants, she's seeing you because she knows she wants you. And those are the best girls to really deal with. This is why I always tell guys, don't bother to try so hard with any one particular woman. Because I always say that the woman who wants you, she's going to make it easy for you. I've had girls who, if it just felt so easy, I was just like, how come it's so easy with these girls?
Yeah.
Other girls, it's just like I'm pulling teeth. And I noticed the ones that really, really like you, it's just so, it flows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those are usually the girls who know what they want. You know what I'm saying? The ones that don't know what they want, those are the ones who are going to waste your time and, nothing's going to really happen,
So the ones that don't know what they want, we just shouldn't mess with them really.
Yeah, I would say just keep it moving because you're going to waste a lot of time. I've wasted so much time with girls who are kind of like wishy-washy with how they want to do things.
Yeah.
Especially, and I tell guys too, especially when it comes down to sex, you don't want to be with a girl who's wishy-washy like that because you don't ever want to have sex with a woman who feels guilty about having sex with you and then she's going to probably, he pressured me, and you don't want to get into that territory. You know what I mean? So it's best to be with a woman who is showing you cooperation like 100%, who's really like, you call her, she calls you back, you tell her to meet you at 2, she meets you, she's there at 1:59, like on time. Those are the best ones.
Oh yeah.
So y'all are out, you make out, everything is great. It's just obvious this girl is into you.
Right.
But the ones who you're calling her back like 2 or 3 times and she hasn't called you back, or once you say, hey, let's meet up, and she flakes on you at the last minute, and it's just like, you don't need all that. You know what I mean? Because if a girl likes you, she's going to make time. She's going to go out there and see you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's either like smooth sailing or it's like a pain in the ass.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, awesome. All right. What are your plans for the future with, being a dating coach, an actor, and a rapper?
Well, yeah, I have a new book coming out too. It's called What's Good. So I I also do like, motivational speaking, just about, happiness and achieving your goals and stuff. So this book is like just straight based off of that. And, I put like a lot of things that I've experienced in my life into this book to show people like, what happiness is really about, and, actually thinking positive, and actually the right way to think positive, to think positively, because a lot of people can't even say the word positively, because a lot of people, they just say, hey, just think positive, and it's like, it's not really just like that. But I go into the book and really get deep into that. But I have that book, and I also have a movie coming out called It's Your Fault You're Single, Tips on Finding Mr. Right. That's a movie based off of my book that I wrote for women.
Yeah.
And I also have another movie called How to Have Sex with 2 Women a Day, which is based off of my other book for guys that's out already right now. But yeah, and the next things that I'm doing is just I have like a membership on my site that I'm putting together so people can join and be members, and every month you get basically like a free audio video program that can help you with all your dating stuff and everything like that. So, yeah.
Great. Excellent stuff. So, yeah, where can people find your website? I believe it's mrlocario.com.
Yeah, it's Mr. Locario. It's MrLocario.com. Or you can go to MrLocariotv.com. That's why I do like free daily advice.
Yeah.
Also, on my site, MrLocario.com, if you sign up for the newsletter, you get a free book. And also, I have my other blog site, which is ilooksexynaked.com. So I do, do blogs on dating and relationships. And also we have like pictures of hot girls on there.
Okay.
And what else? Oh, and also if anyone wants coaching, they can hit me up on mrlocario.com and just hit the coaching page.
Yeah.
And also I do a thing where it's called Ask Mr. Locario. So they just ask me questions. They send me a question and I respond to them in 24 hours. So if you have something like quick you want to, ask me for, like, if you want on a date or whatever, just hit me up there. That could work.
Sounds like good stuff, man. Well, thanks so much, Mr. Locario, for coming on the show.
Oh, definitely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, man. Anytime.
Yeah, man. And for the viewers, thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed this interview, remember to go back to my website, highlyconsciousman.com, and sign up on the email list to get free updates on confidence, finding the girl of your dreams, and discovering your life's purpose. I give out the best content to and always stay in contact with my subscribers. So once again, highlyconsciousman.com. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Take care.